Anyway, here's that passage without further ado. This is as Bella is walking through the woods and basically trying to decide if her Google search is correct and the Cullens, Edward and his family, are truly vampires. She's just walking through the woods by herself, by the way, on a rainy day, wondering if her crush, her soon-to-be boyfriend, is a blood-devouring monster. Could the Cullens be vampires? Well, they were something. Something outside the possibility of rational justification was taking place in front of my incredulous eyes. Whether it be Jacob's cold ones or my own superhero theory, Edward Cullen was not human. He was something more. So then, maybe. That would have to be my answer for now. And then, the most important question of all. What was I going to do if it was true? Run. Anyone sane would know, hey, my boyfriend has killed and eaten people. I should probably not be with this person. I should run. But not our protagonist. Thank God. That's part of what makes this novel entertaining, is that she is the definition of unhinged. If Edward was a vampire, I could hardly make myself think the words, then what should I do? Involving someone else was definitely out. I couldn't even believe myself. Anyone I told would have me committed. Unless they noticed the same things you notice. But for some reason, Bella notices things that other people don't notice, even though there's no reason that she should be noticing these things. Like, the only thing that makes Bella different is the fact that she is so unhinged. And maybe that's what Edward means, because he continually tells her how different she is from the other girls, how strange and unusual and how unique, and how, like, there's a reason she's captured his attention, which mainly is because he can't read her mind, which according to the movies seems like there's nothing in her mind to read, and that's why he can't read it. That is certainly not the case in the books, because we're in her mind the whole time, and there's a bunch of stuff in her mind, and it's all bat guano crazy. Only two options seemed practical. The first was to take his advice, to be smart, to avoid him as much as possible, to cancel our plans, to go back to ignoring him as far as I was able, to pretend there was an impenetrably thick glass wall between us in the one class where we were forced together, to tell him to leave me alone, and mean it this time. Yeah, you probably should. He's actually looking out for you here. But she sees those red flags and she's a bull. I was gripped in a sudden agony of despair as I considered that alternative. My mind rejected the pain, quickly skipping on to the next option. I could do nothing different. After all, if he was something sinister, he'd done nothing to hurt me so far. In fact, I would be a dent in Tyler's fender if he hadn't acted so quickly. Referencing something earlier in the book where Edward suddenly saves her from being hit by a car and then gaslights her about it ever happening. But if it was a reflex to save lives, how bad could he be? I retorted. My head spun around in answerless circles. Oh, honey. Oh, don't get fooled by that. Oh, no.